Hello, everyone. This is Victoria Fear, Programs Officer at the Miami Foundation, and I'm so glad that your organization is looking to participate in this year's Give Miami Day on November 17th, and also that you're joining me for today's webinar. This is a recorded version of what you would experience at some of our in-person trainings. So today we'll be discussing really the basics of Give Miami Day, how to register, how our bonus and prize pools work, and some of the basic questions that come up frequently during the registration process. So first I'd like to recap kind of what we did last year. Give Miami Day 2016 will be our 5th annual event, and the event has grown exponentially each year. In 2015, there were over 17,000 donors raising funds for 604 participating nonprofits, and together this community raised over $7.1 million in just 24 hours. So please give yourselves a round of applause for all of your hard work, and we're so glad to be your partner in this event. The 5 organizations that I have listed here are the organizations that top the list in terms of number of gifts. Now I know it's very important for nonprofits to raise a lot of money. It is a fundraising event after all, but what we find even more valuable is seeing how many gifts nonprofits can raise, because that's relationships, that's future prospects, future annual giving, future legacy gifts. So these are your supporters, both large and small, who are ambassadors for your cause and who care about the work you do and who you can lean on in the future. So I especially want to recognize these 5 organizations that top the list. Community Arts Program, I'm not sure when you're watching this webinar, but Mark Hart from Community Arts Program will be one of our panelists at the Peer Learning panel on October 19th. So if it's before October 19th and you're watching this webinar, we encourage you to join us for the panel and hear from Mark, 2 other successful organizations. So how do you get started preparing for this year's event? Well, the Nonprofit Toolkit on GiveMiamiDay.org is really your one-stop shop. There you can register to participate, you can RSVP for additional trainings, you can download a new tool that we have this year called the Planning Workbook, and the Planning Workbook contains a detailed 8-week work plan of what you should be doing each week leading up to Give Miami Day. We have best practices from engaging your donors, engaging your board member, knowing your audience, and just tips and tricks on how to do that successfully. We also go in detail about all of the upgrades for this year. So if you've been a part of the event before, this is especially helpful to see where we've made some improvements and enhancements. This is always an ongoing and evolving process, but that's one particularly important thing to look out for. Also on the Nonprofit Toolkit, you'll find logos and graphics. We'll be adding more as we get closer to the event, including tools, graphics you can use on your social media accounts, in your email, things you can use on your website. And of course, you've already accessed this webinar. We'll have some other webinars posted on the Nonprofit Toolkit as well. So check back often, and I hope you make use of all the resources there. So how to participate? Give Miami Day eligibility is limited to 501c3 public charities and certain funds at the Miami Foundation, including some fiscal sponsorship and donor-advised funds here at the Miami Foundation. Clarifying points that I want to make on that. If you are a 501c3 private foundation, you are not eligible to participate. If you have a fiscal sponsorship fund at another organization, you are not eligible to participate. Only 501c3 public charities and certain funds here at the Miami Foundation. The deadline to register is coming up quickly. It's on October 17th. Now, of course, this webinar has information that will be helpful beyond October 17th, but I do want to make it a point to mention the registration deadline and ensure that everyone watching this webinar is registered and ready to participate by October 17th. Last year, we completely overhauled our registration process, and this year we've made some enhancements and updates to that platform as well. As most folks know, but for the newbies that are listening, when you register to participate in Give Miami Day, you are also added to our year-round nonprofit database, Nonprofit Central. And since I'm sharing my screen, I'm going to show that to you quickly. We go to nonprofits.miamifoundation.org. This is Nonprofit Central. We are making additional enhancements on this site down the line as well, but this is a year-round resource that we use for fund holders here at the Miami Foundation and just the general community to learn about organizations. So if you know who you're looking for, you can search by organization name. I'll search Foster Care Review, for instance, comes up, and it's predictive text. Or you can scroll down and filter by categories. So let's say faith-based organizations. This is very similar to how the Give Miami Day site works as well. And you'll see all the organizations who are classified under faith-based organizations. You can click on them, and everything that you fill out on your registration form lives here on the year-round site. So visitors can see how to contact you, learn about your mission, and then as they scroll down, you can see images and video, programs, board and staff, financials. People are always asking why we ask about the financials, but donors are very interested in how you spend your money and how fiscally sound your organization is. So that's why we ask for that. And then this is actually has a year-round donation site. So if you don't have a way to accept gifts online, you can use Nonprofit Central to accept online donations. That's a quick introduction. Just reach out to me if you'd like to learn more. But now back to the slideshow. So we do have an updated registration process, and I'll walk you through that in just a moment. But one important thing to share is that you will create a password. You can access your profile year-round and make updates at any time, so that if you're working on something special, if you have a new initiative you want to highlight, you're welcome to log in year-round, make that update, and it will be reflected on your Nonprofit Central profile for the public to see. Okay, so rather than walk through this piece, I'm just going to show you an example. Again, if we go back to my email, I have it open. So I already started a little bit on a registration form. That piece is easy. When you click the green button, either at the top or the bottom of the screen, for new users, it'll say register. For existing users, that green button will say Save Changes. You'll get an email that looks like this one. Now, this came to my spam folder, so you do have to be careful. Check your junk if you are not seeing our email. And it says, You've been granted access. Set your Giving Day event user account password. And then it has a hyperlink to create a password for your user account now to access the Giving Day Event Manager. That's the tool that we use for Give Miami Day. Then it brings you to this screen, and it just says, please create a password. This is the first time you're doing it, so you can make it whatever you want. I'll say test123, and click Login. Now it will bring me to my registration form that I've started filling out already. It will be pre-filled with any information I've already provided, and it will be still blank in the areas where I still need to make updates. Now, one question that's come up a lot over the past several weeks is organizations are not seeing the files that they've uploaded. I just want to make a clarifying point here. So let's go here to the 990. You'll see that there's no file in the 990. I can choose a file, but there's currently no file uploaded. However, if you look right above that at the Department of Agriculture certificate, there is a file. There's a blue button that says View File. The red X, I think folks are very intimidated by the red X, but the red X just means to delete the current file so you can upload a new one. If you want to check what files you have here, you can click the blue View File button, and it will open a new tab so you can see what that document looks like. So this computer's a little bit slow, I apologize, but this is the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services certificate that we are asking for. This certificate shows that your organization is in good standing with the Solicitation of Contributions Act, which is a requirement by state law. This is the Miami Foundation's letter. So this is actually our most stringent requirement of the registration process, and I get a lot of questions about this document. So I just want to show you what we're looking for. This is the letter. Here you'll see it expires. It actually expires in a few days. So we will be getting a renewal certificate soon. If your organization has a certificate that expires in October or November, that's fine. We understand that you are most likely in the renewal process, but please do upload your new valid current certificate as soon as it arrives, so that we know your organization is in good standing for Give Miami Day on November 17th. So again, when you have a file uploaded on the site, you'll see the blue View File button. If there's no file, it'll just be blank, like this. So this is the registration form. It's pretty lengthy, but there's good news. You can save your changes and come back to it. So I'll press the green Save Changes button, and because I have many required fields missing, this pop-up will appear, and it will say, some required fields were not completed. Would you like to save before you review and submit again? So if you want to save your progress, you'll click Yes. If you want to go back and verify what you are missing on your form, you click No, and there'll be a small red note under the field where you're missing information. So here, for instance, primary contact phone, you'll see the red note is there. But let's go ahead and click Yes for now. Yes, I do want to save my changes so far. And you can save your progress as you go. All right, back to the slideshow. That is our updated registration process for this year. Returning participants will use the tool that's here on the screen to find their profile. It's called the Profile Lookup Tool. And if you have any issues accessing your account, if the person maybe whose email is listed here is no longer on your team and you need to change that, just email info@miamifoundation.org and we'll help you right away. Again, that's info@miamifoundation.org. So when you are registering, you'll see this is all marked as required on the registration form, but these are all the areas where we do require information. You're welcome to make your profile as robust as possible. I do encourage you to save your work as you go. And one very important thing to note is that each individual file that you upload, for instance, your 990, any images that you want to include, must be less than 5 megabytes each. A lot of people email me, they say, I don't understand, this file is not uploading, and I very quickly see that the file is just far too large. So please ensure that each and every file you upload is less than 5 megabytes. An additional note that I'd like to share is that the overall form, the whole registration form combined, has a limit of 25 megabytes. So also, please do review all the files you're uploading and ensure that their size combined, that is, adding up the file size of all of the documents, is less than 25 megabytes, or else you will also experience errors when you try to save those files. So here again, I have a note about the solicitation of contributions letter. It is, again, our most stringent requirement. They're very helpful at the state, in fact. So if you call this number on the screen, 1-800-HELP-SLA, you can speak to the Division of Consumer Services, or say you're a business calling for business services, and say you're calling in regards to the Solicitation of Contributions Act, and they're very, very helpful. And from my understanding, they actually, if you've already submitted your application and you're just waiting for the actual letter to come in the mail, I have heard from them that they'll actually email you a copy same day. So I encourage you all to reach out to them. They're used to people from Miami calling around this time of year. So please do reach out to them for help as well. So how do donations work? Donors go to givemiamiday.org on November 17th and can make a gift using a debit or credit or gift card. Or if they have a fund here at the Miami Foundation, they are also welcome to give through their donor advised fund. This is particularly helpful for donors that are planning large gifts of a couple $1,000s or more. If you know that you are expecting a major gift to come on Give Miami Day, you may consider speaking with that donor about setting up a fund here at the Miami Foundation. The benefit to that is that you receive 100% of that gift. There are no fees associated with gifts from donor advised funds. A lot of nonprofits are concerned that their donors would prefer to pay with cash or check or through PayPal. They just don't want to put the credit card information out there on the internet. And that's why we suggest perhaps using a gift card. These, any of the major credit card gift cards work as well. So you can encourage your donors to use that option if they're not comfortable using their credit card. Donations are 100% tax deductible. This means that your donors cannot receive any material benefit in exchange for their gifts. So they can't receive tickets to your gala or tickets to an event you're producing. They can't receive a swag bag full of goodies or anything like that. There can be no material benefit in exchange for a 100% tax deductible donation. We have seen nonprofits organize events to thank their donors. We absolutely encourage you to thank your donors, but there, again, can be no material benefit. Once a donor goes online to your organization and makes a donation, they'll receive a receipt automatically from the Miami Foundation, and that includes the tax language that they need to file their taxes. So you, and in thanking your donors, you do not need to include the tax language for their tax receipt. That's already covered by us in the email confirmation receipt they receive immediately after making their gift. Now, how do you receive the funds you raise on Give Miami Day? You will receive an electronic transfer, that's an ACH direct deposit, into the bank account for which you provide information on your registration form. That includes all of the gifts that you receive from your donors on Give Miami Day, any bonus dollars, which every gift up to $10,000 is eligible for bonus dollars, and I'll go into that more in depth in a moment, and any prizes, and I'll also explain the prizes. Now there are fees. So please note the disbursement you receive into your bank account will be net credit card and transaction fees. So last year in 2015, the fees were 4.34%. That's transaction fees and credit card fees combined was 4.34%. Now there's a really, really exciting thing I'd like to share with you all. This year, for the very first time, we are going to actually allow Give Miami Day donors the option of covering the fee for their gift. So that means they will pay the fee instead of you, the nonprofit, which ultimately means more dollars in your pocket. So we're really looking forward to this option. What we found from other community foundations like the Miami Foundation that host events like Give Miami Day around the country is the statistic that I heard is 63% of donors that are giving under $275 opt to cover the fee. So that is particularly powerful for organizations that rely on smaller gifts. The larger gifts, they are not as likely to accept paying the fee for their gift, but the option is still there. We're really excited about what this will mean, that you'll be able to net more of the donations and less will be going to our credit card and our technology partners. Oh, one last thing on this slide before I move on. I do want to remind everyone, the Miami Foundation does not take a fee for this event. We offer Give Miami Day as a community program. We love it. It's part of our organizational fabric now, and we're so excited each year when this time of year comes around. But we do not make any money off of this event. So if your donors or your board comes to you and says, what is this 4.34% fee? Why is the Miami Foundation making money off of us? To date, for the last 5 years, we have not made any money. The fees go directly to credit cards and our technology partner, Kimbia. Those are those fees. Okay, so how does the bonus pool work? So as I mentioned, each gift you receive up to $10,000 is eligible for a bonus gift. The Miami Foundation fundraises. We actively fundraise with corporate, other foundation, and individual donors to fundraise for what's called the bonus pool. This is not a match pool. We do not use the word match. It is not a dollar-for-dollar match. That can be very misleading to donors, but it is a bonus to help stretch the donations you receive just a little bit further. So how it works is we actively fundraise for the bonus pool, and the public has the opportunity to actually give directly to the bonus pool on Give Miami Day. And then after the event, we take the amount that we've fundraised for in the bonus pool, divide that by the total amount raised for the event, and that gives us our bonus percentage. So again, lots of donors, lots of board members are very eager to hear before the event, well, how much is the bonus? I want to know how much you're going to get back on this gift. Unfortunately, we cannot predict what will happen until after the event, and then we have a lot of number crunching to do before we can make that announcement. But I will say in 2015, the bonus pool percentage was 8.29%. So this means if you had a donor that gave you a $100 gift, that gift became $108. The prize pool, now this is a whole separate pot of cash. So each year we have about $25,000 available in prizes. And approximately every hour we announce a new prize winner. These cash prizes range in value from $500 to $1,500. And prizes are based on a number of things, but most usually the number of unique donations you receive in a certain given time period. So here on the example is the lunchtime special prize, $1,000 awarded to the organization that receives the most unique donations between noon and 2. So I had this very interesting experience last year where someone thought a unique donation was like $37.48. That is not a unique donation. So to clarify what we mean by unique donation, it means one donor to one organization using one credit card. So if you have a donor named Joe Smith, and Joe Smith gives to you 10 times in a row, trying to help you win a prize, Joe Smith's gift will only count once, because it is the same donor giving to the same organization every single time. Now, if Joe Smith has 10 different credit cards, potentially those could be counted as unique donations. We also have prizes that are based on time. So say we have last year we had the Good Morning Sunshine Prize, and it was at sunrise at 6:43 a.m., I believe. So whatever donation was at 6:43 a.m., that's the nonprofit that got the prize. Now, these prizes are counted down to the 100th of a second. So a lot of people called us and said, hey, I made my gift at 6:43 a.m. I can show you on my receipt. But it is down to the 100th of a second. So Kimbia, our technology partner, takes this quite seriously. But the full prize list will be published on givemiamiday.org in advance of the event. So we encourage you to review the prize list and strategize with your team about which ones you think you'll go after, which ones make sense for your campaign, and which ones seem achievable for you. So that about wraps it up. I just have a couple more slides. We're going to keep this under 30 minutes. But I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. As I mentioned, the Miami Foundation actively fundraises for the bonus pool, and these are some of our current sponsors for the bonus pool. This list will be growing over time. So keep visiting givemiamiday.org. We'll publish the full list of sponsors there. And just like you thank your donors, we're very eager to thank ours. And we invite you to thank our donors as well, because they help make the bonus pool happen. So we're very grateful to all of them. And I'm recording this webinar at the end of September. So I do want to mention the last couple trainings we have coming up. On October 6th, we have a training at the main library on social media. Our Director of Communications, Matthew Beatty, will be leading that. We have our peer learning panel, which again is my favorite training session because you actually get to learn from folks who have been in the driver's seat, just like you, leading a campaign. That's at 4:30 also at the main library. And then probably the most important, especially for first-time participants, is our webinar with Kimbia. Again, that's our technology partner. On November 9th, that is a webinar that you'll log into and will be live. You can ask questions and exchange information. We'll be very excited for everyone to join us for that. If you have last-minute questions about registration or just want to have some face-to-face time with us, we're available for office hours. The times are available on givemiamiday.org, but the dates are here, October 10th and 12th. Reminder that the registration deadline is October 17th. That is a very, very strict deadline. So if you call me on the 18th, you know what I have to tell you, unfortunately. So please adhere to the deadline. You will receive direct links on November 7th, and don't tune out yet, because I do want to mention how the direct link works, especially for first-timers, so give me just a couple more minutes of your time. And lastly, of course, the big event happens on November 17th for those 24 hours. So before I let you go, I do want to cover the direct links, how that piece works. So after you register for Give Miami Day and you are approved to participate, you will receive these 3 links approximately 2 weeks before the event. The first link is your profile page on givemiamiday.org. So each individual participating organization has their own unique profile page on the site that donors can go to directly. They can also search for you by name or by category, like we showed you on Nonprofit Central. The second link you'll receive is a little snippet of HTML. We call it the embed code, and this allows you to embed the Give Miami Day donation form onto your website. The third link that you'll receive is to your donation report. So if you've been listening to me for the past half hour and been wondering, well, how do I find out who my donors are? This is it. You receive a donation report link. It's a hyperlink. When you click it, it downloads a Microsoft Excel file onto your computer. And that Microsoft Excel file contains all of your donors' information, their name, their contact information, so that you can thank them in a timely manner. And if you refresh that report by re-downloading it throughout the day, you'll have the most up-to-date information. So you'll be receiving more information about this as the event comes closer, but I do want to put in your mind that you will receive those links around November 7th, and sometime during that week. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me, and again, we greatly appreciate and are so excited to have your organization participate in Give Miami Day this year, and we look forward to it. And best of luck. Please contact us if we can be of any assistance. We are here to support you. So, #Give Miami Day. Please join the movement with us.